Wanna play?
Here's Johnny!
I need a bigger boat.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Hey everybody, welcome back to Wanna Play. My name is James McKenna, and today we're going to be doing another walkthrough. In today's walkthrough, Merry Christmas everybody, is going to be Black Christmas. Black Christmas is a Canadian slasher film released in 1974, which you can tell is Canadian because, well, there's snow. It's Canada. Black Christmas is credited by many as the first ever slasher film, with the introduction basically of POV, which is now known, I guess, as the Michael Myers shot. No, Black Christmas is doing it first. And this movie is actually truly scary. It's one of the scariest films that I've ever seen, and it's just a classic. I think more people should know about this. It's actually very underrated in my opinion, and it's one of the only good, actually, holiday-themed horror movies. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. We open up with a slow and creepy rendition of Silent Night, Holy Night. We're at a sorority house where a person is heard breathing and stalking outside of the house in first person before looking up to the roof. After we meet Barb, played by Margot Kidder, we see the unseen man climb up into the attic and begin to climb down the ladder. We also meet Claire in the hallway, as well as Jess, played by Olivia Hussey, who is also in It, Norma Bates in Psycho 4, and perhaps most famously, Juliet in Romeo and freaking Juliet. She's being called by what she calls the Moaner, fitting name because he just says the weirdest stuff which I can't even include in this video because it's too inappropriate for YouTube, before saying,
I'm going to kill you.
Claire is planning to go on a trip with Barb, but when she goes to pack, we zoom in on her closet as well as some more POV shots before you bang! Claire gets a bag over the head and we cut to the drunk Mrs. Mack, who's all sorts of fun. She's hiding booze in her purse, okay I guess, and books, which is better, and oh god, ew, the freaking toilet? Wait, what did the killer do with Claire's body? Oh god, smash cut to her body in a rocking chair with a bag over her head right next to the attic window, what the hell? We meet Jess's boyfriend Peter, and after she tells him that he's pregnant for literally no reason, she gets called by the Moaner again, who promptly tells her his name. Barb, Phil, and Claire's father report Claire missing to the police before Jess goes to talk to Claire's boyfriend Chris, who's playing hockey because Canada, and Peter seems to blow a big piano contest or something. But wait a second. We meet Lieutenant Fuller, played by John Saxon, last seen on the walk through A Nightmare on Elm Street, also playing a cop funnily enough, and who sadly passed away only a few months ago in July. Everybody except for Miss Mack goes to search for Claire, and after another creepy shot of Claude, the sorority's cat, climbing into Claire's body, Mrs. Mack climbs into the attic, but we see hands holding a hook, and after she sees Claire's body, the hook gets sent right into her face and she gets yanked up into the attic. The search party comes into something in the park, but we never actually get to see what it is. After a freakout from Billy, Jess arrives back to another creepy phone call from him, in which he says his name again a few times.
Billy! 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 Billy!
And makes his way down the stairs to watch Jess call up the cops on her. Oh, no, wait, it was just Peter. Anyway, the police department blows Jess off about her obscene phone calls before revealing that the thing everybody was looking at in the park was a murdered little girl. Yikes. After this guy randomly starts laughing for no reason, Fuller takes the note from Sergeant Nash with the sorority number on it. Also, by the end of this scene, he's still laughing for literally no reason. Fuller gets an electrician to put a tab on the house's phone number in order for the police to track the calls, and he tells Jess that the next time he calls, she just needs to keep him on the line in order for the police to track the call. He also points out a car outside, saying that there's an officer waiting in there just in case. Phil starts to feel sick, so she heads up to bed to get some sleep. Billy starts to play with Claire's body up in the attic, which, like, holy crap, this film is scary, before descending down the ladder once again. Jess hears Barb begin to breathe heavily, but nothing's wrong. It was only a nightmare and an asthma attack. But then, wait. He stands right there in the doorframe? God damn, Billy, you crazy. Jess answers the door to some carolers when we get a super creepy and messed up moment as Billy enters Barb's room and grabs a glass unicorn off her bed frame and stabs her over and over again, intercut with the carolers singing to Jess with only his crazy eye ever being seen. Jess's phone rings again, and it also rings in the station with a strangely epic zoom-in, and one compilation of weird noises and a quote from Peter which makes it literally infinitely more creepier later. Fuller tells her that he couldn't get to him because she didn't stay on the phone line long enough. The phone rings once again, but it's Peter who's crying over the phone. But come to think of it, we never actually saw Peter and Billy in the same scene, and the two have almost the same hairstyle as seen by Billy's shadow. Jess says that Peter was in the house when she got one of the phone calls, made creepier a little later on, but I won't spoil it just yet. Some of the search party warns them in kind of a comedy scene to lock all the doors and windows, but it ends on a creepy note when Jess reveals that the door was the only thing in the house that was locked. Phil is the next to go after the door slams behind her, but then the phone rings yet again and Jess finally leaves it on long enough for the police to trace where the call is coming from. And where is it coming from?
He says the calls are coming from number 6 Belmont Street.
For Christ's sakes, Nash, you got it wrong. That's where the calls are going into.
That's where they're coming from too, sir.
Oh, shit.
You got that right. Turns out Billy also got the other officer that was outside, since we see him with his neck slit, meaning that the killer was outside of the house. Nash begs for her to get outside the house, but she screams for Phil and Barb instead, and arms herself up with a fire poker and heads upstairs. Jess opens up Barb's room and oh my god, I didn't even know what to say. This is terrifying. Oh my god, but then we get a shot of his eye looking at her through the door, but she slams it on his face and runs away. He catches up with her and yanks her back, but she gets into the basement and slams the door shut on him. Then, she looks outside the window to see a shadowy figure that turns out to be Peter. Oh no. He breaks his way inside through the window and creepily approaches her as the police arrive. They begin to open the door and head downstairs, where they find Peter, dead in Jess's arms. The guys bring Jess up to bed, and the movie is concluded. It was Peter, all along. Or was it? Because after everybody leaves, the camera slowly pans over to each murder room and up to the attic, where we hear some whispering and creaking, and as the camera zooms out from Claire's still undiscovered body, the phone rings one final time. End of movie. But don't go away yet, because it's awards time. Now, the first award that I'm going to give out is going to go to my favorite part. And my favorite part is going to be Barb's death scene. Not her death, her death scene. Spoilers, this isn't actually my favorite kill in the film. It's my favorite scene in the film, though, because, oh my god, it's so creepy. Billy, he just walks in there, and you just see his shadow. His shadow in his eye. And it's so creepy that you only see one bit of his body the entire time that this movie is on. You only see his eye, and he's just stabbing her over and over and over, which is already an insane and messed up kill, but then it's intercut with these, like, carolers and, like, Jess enjoying herself in the same house that this girl is getting murdered. It's just such a creepy and messed up scene that I love it. I love how they did it. I love how scary they made it. It's so well done, and it's easily my favorite part of the film. I'm gonna give the best character to Barb. I feel like Barb completely steals the show. Played, of course, by Margot Kidder, star of Amityville Horror and freaking Lois Lane in Superman, and who was also in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. I'm surprised that not many people talk about that, but she is in Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. But her just sarcastic, hilarious performance is so funny in this. She absolutely steals the show. How she's making fun of Sergeant Nash. She's just such a funny, hilarious character. I could have given it to Jess, but I feel like she doesn't really do that much, at least not as much as other final girls do to fight back. I mean, she doesn't even kill Billy in the end, and Billy, he's not really, he's a character, but, like, you don't actually see him. He's barely really there, so I couldn't really give it to him. If there's a sequel to this somehow, then maybe. But for now, I'm giving it to Margot Kidder's performance as Barb. She's just so funny. I'm gonna give the worst character to Sergeant Nash. He was just such an annoying... he was so annoying. He's not a bad written character. None of the characters in this film are bad written. But he's just so annoying, and he just ignores, like, his orders and stuff, and he's such like a smug, sarcastic jerk to the main characters, and I just don't like him. The characters don't like him, I don't like him. He's a really well written character, but that character is meant to be an awful jerk, and I think that he deserves the worst character because they did a really good job of making him seem like a jerk, which he absolutely was. So to me, he gets the worst character. I don't know about you, but that's just me. Worst character. As I said, the best kill scene was Phil, but the best kill is gonna go to Claire. It's so out of nowhere. She just walks to her closet, boom, back over the head, and she gets yanked back. And the fact that he props her up in this attic and just leaves her in front of the window the whole time and no one ever discovers it, the only people who discover it get killed off, is just such a well-written and creepy way to do stuff. The shots of her with like the cat in her lap, or Billy like playing with her body in the rocking chair, was so scary. I think this is probably the scariest part in the movie, just all the shots of her body in the window. It's just such a scary, creepy, out of nowhere death. There's no blood, there's no gore, there's no guts, there's nothing. Just out of nowhere, creepy, in the shadows, and then it's done. Such a well-made kill scene, and it's just so realistic too. It's such a scary and well-made kill that I feel like it has to get the best kill. The worst kill I'm gonna give to Jennings, who was the officer in the car outside of the sorority house. The worst kill is Jennings because you don't ever actually see anything happen. It's not really that messed up. Like the little girl who was killed in the movie, I count that as a kill, even though we never actually see the body. But it's just such a messed up and creepy thing to include in this movie that I feel like she doesn't get the worst kill. But the random dude who was sitting outside of the house that was in 2 scenes, and you never even like saw him talk or anything, who just gets his neck slit off screen. It's an unoriginal kill, although it is realistic, I guess. I just don't really see how Billy kept like climbing up and down with nobody actually noticing him. It's a little bit confusing to me. And the kill itself isn't that original. It's just a neck slit. Maybe it was original for the time, but nowadays, not really. So I think he deserves the worst kill for this. I'm gonna give the dumbest moment to the whole pregnancy subplot. Like, it was literally only 1 scene, and there didn't really add that much. I guess it added to the tension of like, ooh, maybe Peter would do this because he wants the baby and she doesn't. But then that wouldn't make sense, because if he kills her, then he also kills the baby. I don't know. It's realistic, I guess, but it doesn't really add that much to it. It doesn't make sense for Peter's character to be mad about that. It's just such a random and out of nowhere thing. There's only like 1 line in the movie about it. I just think it's just a dumb and a little bit lazy bit to make Peter seem a little bit more like a good red herring, which he is, but I feel like this didn't really add much to it. The scariest scene. Now, this was a really tough one to give out because there were so many scary scenes, but I'm gonna choose to give it to 2 different scenes, and that is the body reveal when Jess opens the door and there's all those mangled and bloody corpses on the bed. Just such a creepy and scarring image, and the fact that she had to like open the door and see her sorority friends just laid out like that, just twisted and gross, is such a scary thing to think about. And I'm also gonna give the scariest scene to the first phone call. It's funny, it's all jokes and everybody's laughing and calling him a creep and stuff, and then he just straight up, no BS, puts on his normal regular voice and just says, "I'm going to kill you." Such a well-made and awesomely done scene. So creepy, it builds so much suspense for what's gonna happen later and who this killer actually is, and you never even know who the killer is. It's just so creepy and so well done. I think both of these scenes deserve the Scariest Scene award. I'm gonna give the most iconic bit to Barb's death scene. I feel like the image of Billy holding the unicorn above his head about to stab her, and you only see his shadow, and it's just insane, creepy, huge eye, is the most associated image with this movie. Obviously, it's all over all the posters and the advertisements for this film. It's definitely the most recognized image from the movie, and that's basically the definition of iconic. It's what's the most recognized and well-known image from something, or well-known something from something. I feel like I don't really need to explain more. I'm rambling now. It's the most iconic bit for all those reasons. You know why. You've seen it before. It's another one of those in the books. Let's go.
It's me, Billy.
Thanks for watching my walkthrough on Black Christmas. Let me know what you think about this movie in the comments down below. And let me know what other types of videos you want to see. Now there's a whole bunch of videos that I have planned, but just let me know what types of videos you want to see. Let me know what walkthroughs you want to see. I want to do one on Get Out, on The Invisible Man. So many other classics that I haven't done yet that I just want to know what you guys want to think, and I might choose one from the comments below. Who knows? Obviously, follow me on Instagram at JamesFromWannaPlay. Be sure to like this video and subscribe. I don't like saying that, but I mean, it works. So, thank you for watching this walkthrough on Black Christmas. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's such a good film. Like, oh my god. Not a single person doesn't like this film, or at least from what I've seen. This film is just so good. You need to check it out, especially in the winter. So thank you for watching. Goodbye, and good night. Bang.